Hey there, 10th graders. Look, I know board exams are literally right around the corner. And yeah, I know exactly how stressful it feels to stare down that massive business studies textbook. But hey, take a deep breath. We're going to completely demystify Chapter 32 today, Entrepreneurship. In this explainer, I'm giving you a total no-fluff, high-yield blueprint. We're going to decode exactly what the examiners want to see, skip all the heavy jargon, and lock down every single possible mark you can snag from this chapter. Let's dive right in.
All right, so here's our syllabus map. We've got 1, meet the entrepreneur, 2, traits versus functions, 3, role in the economy, 4, self-employment opportunities, 5, financial and promotional support, and 6, district industrial centers. Think of this roadmap as your ultimate exam master plan. Instead of panicking over endless pages, we're just going to master these 6 highly predictable topics. Nailing this clear flow is going to dramatically lower your cognitive load and make sure we cover absolutely everything that board examiners are hunting for.
Okay, moving on to Section 1, Meet the Entrepreneur. Let's start right at the foundation. You know, this is exactly where those tricky one-mark questions love to hide, usually right at the very top of your question paper.
So what is an entrepreneur? Well, what's absolutely crucial to memorize here is that the word entrepreneur actually comes from the French word entreprendre, which means to undertake an activity. Write that down. This is a highly testable, fill-in-the-blank question that examiners love. Picture an entrepreneur as this ultimate innovator. They aren't just clocking into a normal 9 to 5. They actively perceive a new opportunity, they organize the required resources, kind of like piecing together a giant puzzle, and they establish an entirely new enterprise from scratch.
And that brings us to this brilliant quote from your textbook. It describes entrepreneurship as a knack of sensing the opportunity where others see chaos, contradiction, and confusion. Let's do a quick whiteboard-style walkthrough in our heads here. Imagine an ordinary person walking into a totally messy, chaotic room. They look around and say, wow, what a total disaster. But an entrepreneur? They walk into that exact same messy room, see the chaos, and instantly invent a professional cleaning service. See? They turn confusion into action and ultimately profit.
All right, stepping into Section 2, traits versus functions. This is where the heavy hitters are. It's the core engine of the chapter, where those big 3-mark questions live. Now, you might be wondering, what is a favorite 3-mark question for the board examiners? What do they absolutely love to ask? Well, it almost always comes down to listing either the characteristics or the functions of an entrepreneur. But hey, before you start panic memorizing a list of 20 bullet points, I want to show you a secret weapon.
Take a look at this. This is an actual official previous year answer key from Board Paper 85-E. Notice that little note at the bottom? Any 6 points equals 3 marks. This, my friends, is the golden 6-point rule. You do not need to memorize the entire textbook page word for word. No way. You just need to walk into that exam hall with 6 strong, confident points locked in your brain to get full marks on these broad questions.
But hold on, because here is a massive exam trap that you absolutely must avoid. A super common student mistake is mixing up the characteristics of an entrepreneur with their functions. Think of characteristics as who they are, their internal personality traits. Think of functions as what they do, their actual daily action-oriented tasks on the job. Let's make sure you never mix these up so you don't lose any silly marks.
Let's tackle characteristics first. To secure your 3 marks effortlessly, just remember the simple mnemonic CLIPS. C is for creativity. They need fresh ideas. L is for leadership. They've got to guide a team. I is for innovation, making existing things better. P is for problem solving, because let's face it, hurdles are guaranteed, and S is for self-confidence and commitment. Lock those 5 traits in immediately and throw in goal orientation as your safety 6th point. Boom, that's your 3 marks for who they are.
Now contrast those personality traits with their actual functions. Notice how these are all action-oriented verbs. An entrepreneur prepares business plans to outline their vision. They organize factors of production, bringing land, labor, and capital together. They take crucial decisions on things like the product and marketing. They coordinate things effectively across different departments. They handle the budget, making sure the money flows right. And honestly, most importantly, they bear risk and uncertainty. If the question asks for functions, remember, give them the action verbs.
Awesome. Let's move to Section 3, role in the economy. We're zooming out from the individual entrepreneur to look at their macroscopic role. If the economy is a giant engine, well, entrepreneurs are the spark plugs firing the whole thing up.
Your textbook gives a pretty long list of their roles and importance here, but remember our 6-point rule. I highly advise you to pick the 6 points that make a logical chain reaction in your head. Try this little story out. An entrepreneur takes idle savings from under a mattress, so that promotes capital formation. With that money, they build a business that provides large-scale employment. All those working people increase the gross domestic product, or GDP. Because of the new competition, they provide better quality goods at lower prices for all of us. Plus, they often set up factories in backward areas, which promotes the development of rural areas. And finally, they sell their goods abroad, which promotes the country's export trade. See? 6 points, logically linked, super easy to memorize.
Okay, Section 4, Self-Employment Opportunities. Let's shift from macroeconomic theory to real-world practical application. Think about it. If you were going to start a business tomorrow with minimum capital, what would it be? The syllabus wants you to know specific examples of self-employment opportunities. Please don't rely purely on rote memorization here. Just look around your own neighborhood. You walk past these places every single day. The corner advertising agency, a marketing or industrial consultancy, the photocopying center near your school, an internet browsing or cyber cafe, the local beauty parlor, or maybe an equipment rental and leasing shop. These are perfect, valid examples of turning self-employment into entrepreneurship with barely any startup capital. Moving right along to Section 5, Financial and Promotional Support, because as amazing as entrepreneurs are, literally no one builds a massive business totally alone. So the crucial takeaway here is understanding the whole ecosystem of support provided by state and central governments. Now, I know your textbook throws a massive alphabet soup of acronyms at you here. Let's just break down that complexity by splitting them into two really simple categories. On the left, we have financial institutions. These are the entities that provide the actual money and loans, like LIC, UTI, IDBI, or your standard commercial banks. On the right, we have promotional organizations. These guys don't just hand over cash, they build capability. They provide the training, marketing help, and setup support. Think of SIDC, NSIC, KVIC, or industrial estates. So just remember, money on the left, training and promotion on the right. Keep that distinction crystal clear.
And that brings us to Section 6, District Industrial Centers, or DICs. This is our final and arguably one of the most important promotional organizations you need to know for your exam. They act as a single-window agency for rural entrepreneurs at the district level. Now, this specific year is front and center for a very good reason, 1978. Seriously, burn this into your memory right now. District Industrial Centers were established in the year 1978. This is a highly testable one-mark fill-in-the-blank question that shows up consistently on previous papers. 1978. Go ahead and write it down.
The textbook lists literally 19 different functions for DICs. That is way too much to memorize. Let's hack this. Let's turn those dense points into a logical, 4-step chronological journey. Normally, a business owner would have to run around to a dozen different government offices, but the DIC acts as a single window, just one door to knock on. Imagine our entrepreneur walking into a DIC. Step 1. They walk in with just an idea, and the DIC gives them technical support to write a comprehensive project report. Step 2. Now they need gear, so the DIC gives them information on machinery. Step 3. They need physical stuff to build with, right? So the DIC helps with the allotment of raw materials. Step 4. Finally, they need to sell it. So the DIC provides financial and marketing assistance, from an idea to an actual business, in 4 logical steps.
And there you have it. Chapter 32 is fully decoded. Before you close your books tonight, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If you were the examiner sitting down to write tomorrow's board paper, which 6 points from this explainer would you test? Would you ask for those CLIS traits, the action-oriented functions, or maybe that 1978 Dick question? Put yourself in their shoes during your final revision tonight. You've got the blueprint now. Best of luck on your board exams. You are going to absolutely crush it.